this part of the video will be about when you want to pick Ryze. For this purpose I just created a custom game. Generally I think Ryze is somewhat safe top. I often first pick Ryze. This is mostly to practice him and also to see like against which things you have problems. But the good thing about picking Ryze early, even if you don't know who their top laner will be, is that many people will still think right now that you're going mid. So oftentimes you will actually not get counter-picked on top lane, but maybe they will even pick a mid laner like Xerath. It seems to be a popular choice. And then someone else in your team who plays mid can counterpick the opponent's Xerath. But anyway, I think from my experience so far, like quite hard opponents at top lane is definitely Irelia, because well your rune prison does not last as long on her, and also she can like dash to a creep next to you and then stun you, and she has a lot of burst damage with her ultimate. But if you don't fall behind early, then you will scale that better for team fights, and if you do get some harass off once you are like level 7 or level 6 plus, you can actually get a kill on her if she's careless. Other heroes that are quite hard is, for example, Wukong, Renekton on the early levels. Later on I think he's not as problematic, but early on he's very hard to deal with because he has a very nice gap closer and a stun, and then at 6 he gets a very strong ultimate. Heroes you're very good against is, for example, Kennen. Kennen is right now a very popular top laner, and I think that's also one of the reasons why Ryze top is so nice. Like you really hard counter Kennen. You can completely shut down any kind of engage of him with your rune prison, and generally you just have like the better burst damage and you scale better in late game. Of course Kennen is also a good team fighter, but one of his problems is if he does fall behind a bit against you, even if it's just like half a level or so, then you can actually try to zone him very hard, because his auto attack range is not very high, and if he comes close to the creep wave you can just use the full QWEQ combo and then just run away from him afterward. It's very important that once you use your full combo that you do get some distance and don't stick around, because then he might all in you with his ultimate. Ryze is of course also very good against Singed, for example. I mean, Singed is not really played anymore, but he counters him very hard because, well, he just can't get close to you, because whenever he tries to run towards you, you can just use Rune Prison to stop him. And yeah, so generally even if against people that you are strong against, you still need to be careful on early levels, but then once you are level 6 or higher and you do get your Tear of the Goddess plus like the health crystal, and and you have your Q leveled up to 3 or 4, then you can actually play quite aggressive against heroes like yeah, Kennen, Singed. I think against Kale you're also quite good. Zed you have to be very careful against at 6. But yes, I think you should generally you should really try around. Don't be afraid to pick Ryze early, but definitely you can use him to counterpick Kennen and Singed, for example. But yes, in the end you have to collect your own experience. Also, if you do get countered, because you like over time, if you are very experienced, then you can even beat people that try to counterpick you just because you know the matchup much better than they do. So I hope you will be all trying out some Ryze top. I really like the idea of the, well, it's not really like probably an idea of the Koreans. I mean, there's people that played it before, but generally they made it very popular lately, and I think it's a very good choice. There's some hard lanes, and early game is very hard to survive, but later on it's just like the more rewarding, because you can really carry your team, and you don't have to roam so much, because at top lane if your opponent roams you can always kill his tower, and yeah, the roaming of another top laner is not so dangerous compared to like when you are playing Ryze in mid lane. So yeah, that's it on Ryze. I might be commentating like a whole game of Ryze in the future, but for the core of the guide, this is it, and I hope you enjoyed it.